In 2024, Elon Musk became the richest person in the history of the world. His net worth exceeded $250 billion. He owns the world's most valuable electric car company, the world's most ambitious space exploration company, one of the most powerful social media platforms on Earth, a tunneling company, a neurotechnology company, an artificial intelligence company. In 2008, he had none of it. In 2008, both Tesla and SpaceX were weeks from bankruptcy. He had spent every dollar from the sale of PayPal, $180 million. He had one last chance to save one of them. He chose to save both. This is the story of the most audacious financial bet in modern history and the obsession that drove a boy from Pretoria to the edge of the universe, empires, and ashes. Episode 5, The Man Who Bet Everything Twice, the Elon Musk story. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. His childhood was difficult in ways that left marks. He was bullied relentlessly at school, beaten by classmates, once thrown down a flight of stairs so badly he was hospitalized. He was small, bookish, and different, obsessed with computers and science fiction, in a world that had no obvious place for those obsessions. He taught himself to code at the age of 10. By 12, he had created and sold his first video game, a space-themed game called Blastar, to a technology magazine for $500. He was 12 years old. He had already built something, sold it, and pocketed the proceeds. At 17, desperate to escape South Africa and reach the opportunities he could see clearly in his mind, but not in his surroundings, he moved to Canada, then to the United States. He enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania, then transferred to a PhD program at Stanford University in energy physics. He lasted 2 days. The internet had just exploded. He could feel, with absolute certainty, that the biggest opportunity of his lifetime was happening right now, outside those university walls. He withdrew from Stanford and started a company. He was 24 years old. He had arrived in North America with almost nothing. He was about to change everything. In 1995, Elon Musk co-founded Zip2, a company that provided online city guides for newspapers. He and his brother Kimball slept in the office to save money. They showered at a local YMCA. In 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon Musk's share, $22 million. Most people, at 27 years old, with $22 million in the bank, would have stopped. He immediately put $10 million into his next company, X.com, an online banking and payment platform. It would later merge with a competitor called Confinity to become PayPal. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon Musk's share, $180 million. He was 30 years old, and he was about to make the most terrifying decision of his life. He put $100 million into SpaceX, a private space exploration company whose stated goal was to make humanity a multiplanetary species. He put $70 million into Tesla, an electric car company that had never sold a single vehicle. Every person around him told him he was making a catastrophic mistake. The aerospace industry had never been successfully disrupted by a private company. The automotive industry had not seen a successful American startup since Chrysler in 1925. He did it anyway. Between 2002 and 2008, SpaceX attempted 3 rocket launches. All 3 failed. The third failure, in August 2008, was the most devastating. It carried the ashes of Star Trek actor James Doohan and 227 kilograms of cargo. It exploded minutes after launch. SpaceX had enough money for one more attempt. By the end of 2008, Elon Musk was broke. Not almost broke, not nearly broke. Broke. Tesla was hemorrhaging money and had missed every production deadline. Investors were pulling out. Global financial crisis had made raising new capital almost impossible. SpaceX had just watched its third rocket explode. Musk had been borrowing money from friends to pay his personal rent. He was 37 years old. He had turned $180 million into nothing. He had enough money left for one final rocket launch at SpaceX, or to keep Tesla alive for a few more months. Not both. He chose both. He split his last reserves between the two companies. He went back to his friends and asked for more loans. He told his team at SpaceX they had one shot left and that he believed in them completely. On September 28, 2008, SpaceX's fourth rocket, the Falcon 1, launched successfully. It became the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to reach orbit. 6 weeks later, NASA awarded SpaceX a contract worth $1.6 billion. Tesla secured its own emergency funding shortly after. Both companies survived. The man who had been borrowing money for rent would go on to become the richest person in the history of the world. The bet had paid off, not because it was safe, because he made it anyway. So what does the Elon Musk story teach us about building wealth? 3 principles, each one more extreme than the last. First, the size of your bet determines the size of your outcome. Elon Musk did not invest cautiously, did not diversify carefully, put everything, repeatedly, into the things he believed in most. That is not a strategy for everyone. But but the principle underneath it is universal. Small bets produce small results. If you want to build something extraordinary, at some point you have to be willing to make a bet that feels uncomfortable. The size of your commitment is directly proportional to the size of what you can build. Second, conviction is not the same as certainty. Musk did not know SpaceX's fourth rocket would succeed. He did not know Tesla would survive. He had conviction, a deep, evidence-based belief that what he was building was worth fighting for, without the luxury of certainty. Most people wait for certainty before they act. Certainty never comes. Conviction is what you act on instead. Third, the mission matters more than the money. Elon Musk was not trying to become the world's richest person. He was trying to make humanity multi-planetary and accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. The wealth was the byproduct of the mission. Every great empire in history has been built by someone who cared more about the problem they were solving than the money they would make solving it. Find your mission. The wealth follows. From a boy thrown downstairs in Pretoria to the richest person in the history of the world. Not because he was fearless, because he was afraid, and he bet everything anyway. Elon Musk built his empire by betting everything on missions that most people thought were impossible and refusing to accept failure as a final answer. But next week, we leave the world of technology and enter a different kind of empire entirely. A man who grew up so poor, he had to choose between food and school fees. Who built the largest business empire in Africa? Whose story is almost never told outside the continent, but whose wealth and strategy rival anyone we have covered so far. Next week, Aliko Dangote, the man who built Africa's greatest empire. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next story in 7 days.